Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, you are so welcome back to another video. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. Thank you for stopping by today to watch my video. My name is IJ and I'm a content creator based in Canada, and today we're going to be talking about sort of like a comparison. We're going to be comparing life in Nigeria versus life in Canada, because I consider now a good time to make this video, just because I'm still new in quotes. I'm still new in quotes to Canada, and I feel like now is a good time. Like, let's talk about it now. It's definitely going to be an ongoing topic, like, every few years, this might still be a relevant topic to talk about, but I just want to talk about it now that I'm still kind of fresh, new to Canada, and life in Nigeria is still recent to me. I still remember. Not that I'm ever going to forget, but it's still fresh in my memory, and I just feel like now is a good time to compare the two as I'm getting to know Canada versus what life was like in Nigeria, just to give it a fresh perspective. First point I would bring up would be the cost of living. Oh my god, cost of living in Nigeria. I spoke to my mom a couple of days ago actually. I don't even know why I'm saying weeks, but she was telling me that, because back in Nigeria I used to be the one to go to the market and buy everything and all that. So most of the time I'm the one that knows all the prices of grocery items and like foodstuffs. So she was telling me that, remember that milk you used to buy for us that time, like so amount, like I think she said initially it used to be 3,000 naira, but then it later increased to like I think 3,500. She was not like, that milk, they're not selling it 6K. Last time I bought it was 5 something, but I heard it's now at 6,000. I was like, eh? Because me, I could not believe my ears. I was like, what? 6K? How would somebody that is earning, what's the minimum wage again, 30,000 naira, be able to afford to buy milk for his maybe 2 or 3 kids at 6K and still buy other food items to eat? Like, the cost of living in Nigeria is on the rise. But this is not just like in Nigeria, everywhere actually. Like, the issue is that, the particular reason why Nigeria's oil is kind of becoming something else is because, the average person living in Nigeria and what they are earning is not up to date. Like, you cannot even, there's no way that you can afford the prices of grocery items, food items, ordinary things, like with your minimum wage, which is 30,000. You can't afford it. Okay, there's no way you can make ends meet with the amount. Versus if you were living in Canada, of course there's inflation everywhere. If you talk to people that have been here for longer, they will tell you, I used to buy this chicken, a whole chicken for maybe $10, but right now it's at $22 and stuff like that. Inflation is everywhere. But when you talk about, like, compare Nigeria versus Canada on inflation rate, you see that it's actually quite serious, because at least in Canada, if you are making, say, that after taxes every 2 weeks, you are earning, say that this is the minimum wage job that you're doing and you're not working a lot of hours, you're making like $600 every 2 weeks, making it $1,200 a month. You would still be able to afford the average things like chicken. The $20 chicken would still be within your budget. You could probably still afford it. Okay, so I'm just trying to explain that cost of living, inflation is everywhere, but you just have to look at the means of earning versus the means of earning in the other country and now understand, because I feel like I've over trashed this cost of living topic a lot. I did it in my previous video. In fact, the video I did like 3 weeks ago, I talked about it, cost of living in Canada in 2024. I'll link the video here for you guys to go and check out, so that we don't like talk a lot about this particular subject. But cost of living is on the rise everywhere, and it's not just Nigeria, it's actually everywhere. But the only thing about here is that at least you would still be able to afford the items, as against Nigeria that I don't even know how people are surviving. Honestly, it's by the grace of God. The next point that we're going to be talking about is taxes. I think someone asked me a question in my comment section, I think in my last video, about how taxes are calculated and everything. So let's start from Nigeria. In Nigeria, I know that some people pay taxes and some businesses pay taxes, but I don't even know what that taxes is used for, how it is allocated, like what they do with it, or if they even collect it and use it for anything. I cannot say. I don't really know how taxes are used and how it works in Nigeria. But when you come to Canada, the way taxes are calculated here is a very, very serious issue. They don't joke with taxes over here. Okay, so first of all your taxes are usually deducted from your income. Okay, and sometimes, of course, when you buy things, everything you buy here usually has tax included. But so if you want to buy a pen, say you're buying this pen for $2, you might pay maybe 40 cents in tax. I'm just saying, but at least you know that you're paying tax. And when you're earning money, of course, if you're earning 2,000 before taxes, by the time that they take out your taxes, you could be earning about 1,700 or 1,600. Okay, so your taxes are deducted before your earnings, your income is even given to you over here. So any money you're earning, you're supposed to earn $4,000 a month. At the end of the month, you could be going home with like 3,500, 3,600 after your taxes have been removed. So they actually are very serious about their taxes here. Everybody pays tax. So at the end of every year, I think around February or so, everybody goes and files their taxes. So basically you just tell the government how much you've made within a year, and then how much tax you've paid depending on how much you earn, of course. But there's an amount of tax that if you have paid and compared to your earnings is not making sense, they would give you back some money, depending on how much, of course, you paid. But if you pay the government less than you should pay depending on your income, then you would have to reimburse them back. So that's how, basically, in the most basic way, that's how the tax is here. But yeah, that's just how they do it. And taxes are very, very serious. Everybody pays taxes here. And at least, on the bright side, you can see what the taxes are doing. You can see that the taxes are being used, and you can look at how it's being used over here. But, as against in Nigeria, that's I don't know how taxes are paid. I don't know how it is used. I don't know who and who pays. So that is one thing about, taxes, Nigeria versus Canada. Like, I don't know how taxes work over there. Like in Nigeria, I cannot see how people pay their taxes. But over here, you dare not pay your taxes, and you must file your taxes every single year so that the governments can know how much taxes you paid. If you've overpaid or whatever, they will give you back some of it. And if you underpaid, you will pay the rest. Like, it's a very serious thing, and it must be done by everybody in Canada. So that is one thing that you cannot escape here in Canada. You can't escape it. So sometimes it can actually be very, very overwhelming. It's almost like, you're working for the government in quotes, because like any amount of money that you're earning, you must pay taxes. So, if you're earning a certain amount, they will surely take their own taxes. Imagine working for, say, you're earning 4,000 a month before taxes, but after taxes you're earning 3,200. You're going home with 3,200. Whereas in Nigeria, if you're making 50,000, it's your 50,000 you're going home with. Like, nothing is going to be removed from it. But if you are making a certain low income threshold, like you're not really making a large amount of money, they could actually be paying you for your taxes. Like, there's some benefits to it. It's not just that you are paying a lot of money or you're working for the government. You could actually still be gaining, because if you're in the low income threshold, they could still be paying you your money back. So it's kind of like win-win situation with this. But yeah, at least here you know what your taxes are used for, and you know that you have to pay. Nobody escapes taxes here. So you can imagine that government is paying certain people because they are not making a lot of money. Because whereas in Nigeria, as long as I lived there, I did not witness, or I didn't even know that it is possible for government to pay you money for not earning a lot of money that year. So I was actually very surprised the first time I heard this. I was like, wow. So moving on to the next point, which is composure, conduct, culture. To survive here, let me just break it down. To survive here, you need to have composure. You need to be, you need to find a way to compose yourself and be cultured. They are very, very cultured people here. They have a way they conduct themselves, and especially in your workplace, you cannot behave anyhow. You need to arrange yourself. You got to wig on to be able to survive here, essentially, because you can't just do anyhow and get away with it. So For instance, like there are many instances I'm going to give you to like portray what I'm trying to explain here. I don't want to go off paths, but let me just like stick to the explanation I'm trying to give you here. So generally speaking, I like to think of myself as someone that likes to compose myself both online and offline, in person and whatever. But whatever level of composure I thought I had before coming to Canada, it has gone up by 1000%, especially in your workplace, in dealing with people every day. Say your work people, your colleagues, you need to be very, very composed. There are certain things that you think you can do in Nigeria, you cannot, you dare not do it here. You can't try it, you can't. Okay, there are just certain ways that you cannot behave here. And I really like the fact that people here, they like boundaries and they respect other people's boundaries. That's one thing I give to them. Like, if you are somebody that likes having your boundaries, you like people respecting your boundaries, then this is going to be a fantastic place for you, because people will not even encroach in your personal space. If somebody wants to walk by you, say you are in the mall and somebody wants to brush past you, they would like wait for you, and if you're looking like you're not going to walk fast, they will just like politely, please, can I get you? Can I, like, in Nigeria, somebody will just like almost push you down in order to like go where they are going. But you dare not do such here. If you want to, go by somebody and you maybe mistakenly pushed them aside, or you brushed by them or something, or you're just going to obstruct their movements, you pause a little bit, apologize or excuse yourself before you move. That's just how you have to. That's just like the bare minimum you have to do, because you don't want to encroach on other people's space or their boundaries. Like nobody tries to overstep your boundaries. A lot of times, even in work settings in Nigeria, there are some things that people would say in the name of joke, or I'm joking with you, but that can be seen as demeaning. Like the person you are telling knows that they're not finding it funny. You can't try such here. You try such in your workplace, you can even find yourself out of a job, because there are certain ways that people interpret things. You need to treat everybody. You need to consider how somebody would interpret whatever you're about to tell them. Okay, so even if somebody is saying, oh, I don't like this, and you are overstepping your boundary, you apologize, you step back immediately. Especially with, imagine like in Nigeria now, maybe you are on the road and somebody approaches you, oh, I really like your dress, or your dress is beautiful. Maybe it's a tailor-made dress or something, and they are trying to look at the material. Sometimes even without taking permission from you, somebody could just like start touching your clothes to look at the material or to feel it. I like your dress, like grabbing it to like touch the material. You can't do such here. You can't even go close enough to like touch. You can't. Why would you even touch somebody? Are you okay? Like, you can't do it. You just stay at your reasonable distance. Oh, your dress is nice. You then somebody may now be like, oh, thank you so much. Before you can now maybe ask, and you need to ask first, may I touch your material, or may I feel your dress, something like that, before you even attempt or reach forward to touch anybody's material. Not to talk of sometimes like in Nigeria, you see somebody, I like your dress, or it's really nice, they're already touching the material. Before you know it, maybe they're even like bringing out their phone to snap the clothes, or like maybe to take a picture to send to their tailor, or even snap you in the dress, like show their tailor that they want to make the dress. Like, you cannot take anybody's picture or anybody's video without their consent here. It's a serious issue. Like, that is why I actually don't like filming in public, because you don't want to accidentally film somebody and maybe put it on YouTube, and it becomes another issue, because if the person should see it, or if you didn't even realize that you filmed somebody accidentally, but it's now a case. So that's just one of the reasons why it's really, really a serious issue here. You need to compose yourself well. There are some things that you dare not do. There are some ways that you dare not behave. And if you're not composing yourself well in your workplace, of course, like, other people are going to notice, and it might actually turn out to be something serious. So when you come here, you need to, that composure that you didn't have, or you never had, or you never even realized that you don't have, or is not even like a serious issue to you, you would need to have it here. Like, they don't condone a lot of things, and I like it in a way, because people sometimes take a lot of things in Nigeria that you shouldn't take, because why would somebody come and touch your clothes, and not just touch your clothes, maybe touch your hair. Oh, I like your hair. They're already touching it. But here, if you try it, somebody could be like, I don't like people touching my hair. Even before you've reached out to touch their hair, may I touch your hair? You've asked for permission, and they'll be like, no, I don't like people touching my hair. And you can't. Why would you touch somebody's hair without permission? Why would you touch somebody's clothes, without them like authorizing you to, or even take somebody's pictures or videos without their consent? You can't do such here, okay? And in a way, that's a good boundary. Like, I like that, because sometimes people take a lot of things in Nigeria that they don't mean to take, but this is their culture and this is the way they behave, and you just have to compose yourself well, in order to fit in properly. So in Canada, this statement that time is money, I think it's here that you really understand what that statement means, because you hardly even find time for yourself, especially me in particular. I hardly find time for myself here. Any day that I'm not going to work or I'm off, I feel so over the moon, honestly. I feel so excited because I can finally have time for myself, for my things I like doing, like self-care and all of that. I finally have some time for those things I love doing. I even struggle to find time, especially this, like my YouTube now, okay? Sometimes I struggle to find time to film my videos and everything. Like, as you are seeing this video now, today is my off day. That is why I'm able to sit down here and chat with you guys, because on a regular day I wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't be home at this time of the day. I would probably somewhere working. Okay, so I've learned that time is money here, and when you have some personal time to yourself, you just have to cherish it. Because back in Nigeria, I call the shots. Like, what I'm doing, when I'm doing, how I want to do it. I always decide that. But over here, you have to go to work, and you dare not be late to work. You have to start work at so time, and you need to be there by that time. If you're going to take the bus to get to work, you need to follow the bus time. You need to work with their time. If you're going to join somebody and the person is at your house and you're not ready, that's just how you have to work. If you're working with somebody, you work with their time. You're working with the boss, you work with their time. Like, it's almost like you're living for somebody else, but you need to understand that this is how the system here works, and time is very, very important. Time is of the essence here. Time is money, okay? And if you are going to exist here, you need to work with their time. So in a way, it's good, because in Nigeria, I really like the freedom I had to just like decide what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Like, if I want to do something, and probably because I didn't really do a traditional 9 to 5, even though I did so many jobs, I worked so many places 9 to 5, but not really the traditional 9 to 5. I was able to have so much time for myself and everything, but yeah, even to like make this video now, I have to schedule out time for it, and once I'm done with this, I have to go back to other things I need to do. Today, that is my off day, okay? So by the time you guys will be watching this video, probably tomorrow, I would have had to edit it, film it, upload it, and then you guys will be seeing it tomorrow, but by then I would be at work. So yeah, that's just the thing. That's just how life is here. You have to schedule your time and make sure that you're making the most of your time here, because if not, you might not be able to balance your work life and everything. The next point I will be making is freedom. I mean, freedom in quotes, because when you're in Canada, you are free, but freedom as well with freedom comes with responsibilities. If you are somebody that you stay with your family back home, back in Nigeria, you're staying with your relatives and everything, you might not have as much freedom as you would wish, because there are certain things that you just can't do. Your mom, your dad, your relatives and everybody will be on your neck, and you have people around you that will kind of restrict your freedom. But if you're in Canada now, you'd be on your own essentially, and whatever you want to do, you can do it at any time, anywhere, anyhow. Okay, nobody to judge you. Nobody is going to look into your business. Like, everybody here minds their business, so you can live your life however you want. So if you want to spoil, essentially, there is enough chance for you to go wild or go haywire. Like, whatever you want to do, there is now enough freedom for you to do it. But of course, you need to know how you use your freedom, your newfound freedom, because you don't want to do too much. So in essence, like, if you had kind of restriction on your life back in Nigeria because of your family, and you didn't feel as free as you wanted to, or you couldn't really do certain things or take big decisions now without like telling your family members, I mean, you will still need to tell them if you're here, and they know where you are and everything, but they're not here, so you can do as you wish. Like, you can do as you wish and tell them whatever you want. So there's freedom, but you need to use your newfound freedom wisely, because the freedom here, you can actually spoil things if you do too much. So in a way, it's like freedom, but you need to use your freedom wisely. So if you are trying to come here because you'll be free to do as you wish, or you wouldn't really have a lot of restrictions on your life, you just need to remember that with freedom comes responsibility. Anyway, moving on to the next point, which is laws. Okay, in Nigeria, it's almost like the laws are made for certain people to follow it and for others to break it. But for here, everybody follows the rules and regulations. Everybody follows the laws. Laws are made, and you dare not break the laws. Okay, if something is a law or a rule, and you better follow it, because there will be dire consequences if you are breaking the law. Like, there are so many rules and regulations here, and they are strict about their systems. Okay, their structure, you need to follow it. If there are certain rules that you need to follow and you don't follow it, I mean, you might not see the consequences immediately. Of course, there are certain things that you would do, of course, that the consequences would like follow immediately, but there are certain things that you would do. Maybe you broke a certain law, it might be later, because of the structure that they have in place. Like, everything is interconnected. It might be later that you might want to do another thing, and that is when that particular rule could come back to bite you. Like, essentially, I'm saying that back in Nigeria, you can do certain things and get away with it. It's like some rules are not really strict, but over here, if you know the rules, please follow it, stick to it. Like, maybe you're not supposed to work in your visa. Maybe you have a visitor's visa or something, and you're not supposed to work. For example, you're not supposed to work because you're in a visitor's visa, and somehow you start working somehow. Okay, and later maybe you want to apply for, say, you now want to change to a study visa, and somehow it now comes to light that you actually worked on your visitor visa. You could actually find yourself going home, going back to Nigeria, because they have systems in place, and most times it is hard to get away with anything here. Some things have dire consequences. Rules are rules, and it's not for anybody to break here. The traffic rules, okay, like if you are driving here and you are not following the rules, or you get into an accident, or you run a red light, the consequences are very, very severe. Okay, and they are really, really severe consequences to these things. But something like, maybe, of course, there are things that the consequences are serious, but not as serious as other things. Say maybe overspeeding. Of course, you would get a speeding ticket and everything, but it's not. It builds up, essentially. That's what I'm saying. Like, you would need maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 speeding tickets before you now finally maybe have your license restricted or taken away. But essentially, the rules here are very, very like in place. They are for people to follow, and everyone follows the rules. Okay, you dare not not follow the rules, because the consequences you might face might be more than you bargained for, of course. So if possible, and not even if possible, please follow the rules. Let's leave this English and speaking. If you come here, make sure you're following the rules. Anything that you're not supposed to do, don't do it, because they really, really have a lot of systems in place to catch you. Like, and if you're caught, next thing, the police is at your door. Like, before you know it, like, you want 2 minutes, 2 seconds, like, police is already at your door. And the way you would like find yourself in trouble, you wouldn't even like it. Okay, so that is one thing that you need to keep in mind when you're in this country, in Canada, because in Nigeria, the rules are just like bent to fit certain situations, and some people face the consequences even without committing the crimes. But over here, they know, like, the structure, the rules are laid down, and you dare not. And that is why, the day I talked about, there was a video I talked about, your social insurance number and everything. Like, that video, I talked about how important it is to protect your SIN number, because if somebody manages to access your number, your information and everything, and is able to use your details to commit some crime or do some fraud or whatever, they will track it back to you and you'll be in trouble. Okay, so that is why it is important to protect your information, so that nobody is able to steal your identity and commit crimes with it. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful to you. As always, if you really enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one.